No greenhouse? No problem. Do you want to start seeds outdoors but feel like you can't because you don't have a greenhouse?
Oh no!
Well, what if I told you you could start seeds outdoors in winter in a $1 mini greenhouse? Well, $1.25, but who's counting? Sound good? Then let me tell you a story of how all this came to be. I was strolling through the Dollar Tree the other day, browsing the aisles, when I came upon this beauty. My eyes immediately widened and my insides did a little shimmy, because in that moment I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. I was going to winter sow. This container will be perfect for mass plantings. So if you wanted to fill your garden with, say, black-eyed Susans, you could plant a ton of those in this container and spread it around your garden. Or you could partition it off and plant a ton of different plants in one container. If you are planning a small kitchen garden or patio garden, you could probably start most of your seeds in one or two of these containers. Let me show you how. Welcome to Finding Joy in the Garden. You'll need supplies, a container. This is the foil utility pan with lid from Dollar Tree, a knife and a pair of scissors to make holes, labels. I've run out of labels, so I'm using painter's tape to label my seeds now. Markers, seeds. Here I have about 18 different types of basils that I would like to plant. Don't judge me. And soil. First, let's prepare the container. This has a lid. Take that off. So we need holes in both the bottom piece and the lid. I use a knife to make the holes, like so. Now for the top, I found it easier to use a screwdriver to make the holes. So these are the holes I put at the top, and it will help if it rains or you need to water. The water can go in through these holes. Also helps with ventilation. Here's the soil I'm using. I'm using pre-moistened potting mix. Don't use garden soil or seed starting mix. Potting mix is what you need. I have filled the container with soil. If you are trying to grow just one type of seed, say this basil here, and you wanted multiple plants of this, you could just simply sow the seeds in it as is. But if you would like to grow many different plants in this one container, you would need to partition it. We are not going to be fancy today. I'm just going to use this to make lines across the container to show where the different plants will be. No, my lines are not straight and the portions are not equal, but it's not that serious. Now, if you had a soil blocker, aren't you so fancy? That would be great. You could make soil blocks and use that instead. Now, because I know these lines probably won't last that long, I am going to mark with a marker an approximate area where they end, and that way I can tell where one plant starts and the other ends. Same on the other side. There, it's like a grid. Now before I start planting, I'm going to put my label in. If you had individual labels, you could simply put them in here. Don't get the very long labels. You want something kind of shorter so that they can fit in the container when it's covered. But I will be labeling the sides of my container because I ran out of labels. And I should have done this before I put the soil in, but it's not that serious. So what I'll do is put the tape on the side here. Let me tilt this without pouring all the soil out so you can see. And that's where I'm going to write the names. And I'm going to turn this around and put one on the other side because I will be splitting this container in half this way and planting different basils on either side. And stick around to the end because I will show you a container I started, I think a week or a week and a half ago, and the seedlings have started germinating. It's so exciting. I'll show you at the end. Let the planting begin. Today we are going to be planting a ton of basil, and I will run through the seeds real quick. In case you are interested in getting some basil seeds, this is the lime basil, Evivian Tour basil, purple ball basil, the Ghana Akoko Mesa basil, mammoth basil, Genovese basil, dwarf Greek basil, Italian large leaf basil, dark opal purple basil, holy basil, Piccolino basil, so tiny. Oops. Come back here. The Thai basil, lettuce leaf basil, Siam Queen Thai basil, spicy glow basil, and cinnamon basil. I have a couple others, but these are the ones we'll be planting today. Now, basil seeds like to be planted about a 1/4 inch deep. It says it right there. So what I will do, because these seeds are very, very tiny, see that? So I will just be sprinkling these on the top of the soil and then covering it with a misting of soil and tapping it down. That's what we're gonna do today. Here's the Siam Queen Thai basil. And I'm gonna mark here where I stopped because, like I said, I'm splitting this container in half. And that way I can plant 12 different types of basils here. And no, you don't have to watch me do each one, because just like that, I'm done. I'll sprinkle on some soil, pat it down, reestablish my lines, spray on a little water, and cover it with the dome. I labeled as I went, so the names are on the sides. And now we take it outdoors. Now, if you wanted to, you could probably put these under grow lights, but I grow my stuff outside. Subscribe, because I will be showing you these seedlings when they finally pop up. You'll get to see these seeds that we just planted grow into seedlings. So this is where I'm going to leave this container outside in my garden on my garden table, and it should start to germinate in about a week or so. And I'm going to use this clothespin to hold it together because I find that the cover is a little bit loose, and the last thing I want is to come back and find that the cover is gone and blown away by the wind. So I will clip it right here. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but whoosh, there you go. Clip it with, so it's, see, sturdy. And it's already starting to have some condensation just from the little sunlight it just got. You see out there, it's all cloudy. Now let me show you the one I did about a week or a week and a half ago, and this is it here. And you can see the clip is over here. I'll take this off and show you progress. Now let's move this a little. There you go. See the babies? These are some zinnia seedlings that just came up, and I have, you can see the lines are there. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 partitions here. So lots of other plants are going to be popping up in a second, but the zinnia babies have woken up to say hi. These have been outdoors in winter, growing in this mini greenhouse that I fashioned from a foil tin and its lid, and they're doing just fine. So subscribe so you can follow these seedlings and see how they do, and I'll show you the ones we planted today as soon as they pop up. If you would like to learn more about winter sowing, click on this playlist, or if you like ideas of different containers you can grow in outside in winter, click on this video. And until next time, may you always find joy in your garden and your life. Bye, garden friend.